So as you started to progress with football, explain how that unfolded itself and what eventually I'm assuming that you got off of O-line, D-line. So
Yeah.
So what happened?
Yeah, so I mean, finally, year 3 of Pop Warner, the coaches were just like, "You're too fast and too athletic, naturally, I guess, to be on the O line. We gotta get you somewhere else on the field and start having you make some plays." So I got the opportunity to go to receiver again, and I mean, like I said, putting in that work, right? And over the course of those 2 seasons, I was playing O line, but we were constantly working on catching the ball, constantly working on aspects that were gonna make me a better skill position player. But I also think that playing on the line was important for my physicality. Because believe it or not, I mean, now I have the hindsight to be able to look back and admit it, but I was a little timid. Stepping out onto the field in the 5th grade, there were a lot of guys that had been playing football for a few years, and that first week of pads, I wasn't throwing my head in there like how I was later on in my career. So I was timid, so I needed to develop kind of that mentality of like, hey, I'm gonna have to put my hat on somebody every single play, and develop that aspect of my game as well. But I had the opportunity in my 3rd year to step into more of a leadership role within the team. I was now one of the older guys. I played receiver, I was at linebacker, now I was in the middle, I was leading the defense. So it just started to really progress, and that's when I found my love for the game, because my first 2 years I hated it. Every single day, the drive from Manoa back to Kaneohe side where I was living, whole car ride, just getting berated. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? Why did you not make that play? And I'm appreciative of it now, but I mean, it really made me hate football at that point in time, until I started to have more fun with it. And you learn the game and you get more comfortable. And obviously when you're playing skill positions, it's a little bit more fun, because you're getting some of the spotlight. You get to score touchdowns, you get to make tackles and be involved and lead. So, that was when the passion really started to develop. I would say it was year 3 was when I knew it was like, I want to go play college football and I want to play in the NFL.
So that's around 7th or 8th grade, when you're starting to pick up the game more. And then I like how you said, the passion started to develop, and now you had bigger goals, which we'll get to in a second. I always have to ask the athletes, because it's good to know, were you like a bigger kid growing up, or were you a late bloomer and like you were always on the smaller side?
I was late. I was late. I mean, I was one of the smaller kids. I think my first season, I was barely making the minimum cutoff weight. Because I mean, in Pop
older
Warner,
lighter. You gotta play older lighter eventually.
Eventually, but you have obviously the weight limits in Pop Warner, and you have a lot of guys that are the older lighters, right? Where they gotta cut weight, and you weigh in before every single game, right? And you had the kids that had to strip down to their underwear so that they could like lose an extra pound and be qualified to be able to play in the game. Whereas me, they were trying to get me to eat before weighing in the morning, like at 5:30, in the morning, so that I could be heavy enough to play.
The reason why I'm laughing too is because I was in the exact same position. I was always the smallest kid, always lighter. Before I weighed in, we would have to go to McDonald's to get me food so that I would make the minimum weight, exactly like what you're talking about. So I can fully relate to that. It's like other kids are like, oh no, am I gonna be overweight? I was like, am I gonna make the weight? But anyway,
no, I won't name the coaches that were involved in this decision. But one time they knew I wasn't gonna make weight, and they found in one of the storage rooms at Manoa, a 5-pound weight
belt
that they made me put inside my pants when I went for my weigh-ins. Just so they knew that I could play.
And it's funny because looking back now, like all of those things, it probably did help you to, in some aspect, to work on football skills and stuff, because when you're not physically on the same playing field, especially when you're a kid, you have to make up for it with something else. Speed, football IQ, something you have to make up for it, because like you said, football size does kind of matter, as far as positions and things like that. So you have to be a little bit more technique wise better or whatever it is, work harder at it because, you know, like you said, you didn't get the size until later on in your career.
Yeah. No, I mean, even all the way until I was in high school, I hit a big growth spurt between middle school and high school. So I started to, you know, become taller and be more on a level playing field on my height, but I was still just skin and bones. So, you know, I had to pitch a tent in the weight room during when I was in high school to just be able to eat just to be able to try and gain that weight. You know, it wasn't even until I was a junior, senior when I started to like really fill out. And really it wasn't even until I got to college when I started to really pack on the pounds and like really look like a football player.